Let's double check. Huzzah, we're recording. Hope everybody's doing awesome. Let's take a look. Are we live? Yes, we are. Cool. I'm going to take a look at this thing, turn down the volume so I can see. Cool. So I can go ahead and see when people come in. Hello, everybody. I hope you're having an awesome Friday. Bit of a different setup right now because I'm at home. I usually have to commute to where I record and do my lives. So I'm here today. So today we're going to be talking about the scary cards of tarot. Woo. All the creepy, scary cards. Well, when I say scary cards of tarot, what I really mean is the cards that will come up in a movie or in an opera where this woman in a turban with tapestries and crystals pulls the death card and oh no, the main character's gonna die. Things like that. And those are the type of cards that we're going to talk about today, because when they come up in a reading, especially with shadow work, it freaks everybody out. And for good reason. But they get a really bad rap. And I hate that. And they're so misunderstood. So and this is one main reason why I'm not a huge fan of the original Rider-Waite-Smith deck, is because it really is all about, the Christian archetypes of these cards. So I'm going to be showing you the versions of the cards from the Witch's Tarot, which is like Rider-Waite. It has similar symbolism and imagery, but there are some cards that are different. For example, the Devil is different for this. So we're going to go ahead and do a little exercise so we can actually see these. So first off, we are going to do Death. Aha, the Death card. So for the Witch's Tarot, it's a tad different. There's not a bunch of dying people on the ground. For one, it's got this Ghost Rider looking dude, and there's a little boy with a bouquet of daisies holding it up to Ghost Rider as he's brandishing a giant black flag. And if you come in, let me know that you can hear me. I'm not sure because I have to speak kind of quiet because baby girl's asleep. So let me know you can hear me. But the first card, everybody knows this card. It's the Death card. You're going to die. No, you're really not going to die. Johnny Blaze isn't going to come burn your soul. I promise. Basically, when it comes up in a regular reading, the Shadow card is more for symbolizing a death. With every ending comes a beginning. And it's kind of a weird way to take a look at it, but anytime there's a fire and the forest burns down, all that debris that's been collecting on the ground, all those dead bones and, plant carcasses and things like that, they're just sitting there, and a lot of the times they're just caking the forest floor. Once they're burned away, new life can immediately begin to grow from those ashes, because it's actually really good for the environment. That's why volcanic soil is one of the best types of soil you can use on the planet. Even though it's so destructive, it's so incredibly fertile because it allows for things to grow. Hello, Lynn. Nice to see you. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Can you hear me all right? I'm looking at iPod. That's why I'm like this. Can you hear me? Yes, cool. Thank you. Cool. So like I was saying, in order for things that have died and passed away, for new things to grow, they need to pass on. And that's why this card, I enjoy this depiction so much more, because it's not showing, the plague kind of coming through. It's more like this guy is literally bringing death with him. He's not happy about it, but at the same time, You have this youth, this young boy with a bouquet of daisies. He's greeting him. He's saying, thank you for coming through because it's allowing me, my generation, to continue on, you know? Hi, Katrina. Oh, good. I'm glad you can hear great, Lynn. Oh. Whoops. Flying cards. Click that. So, when it comes to this in a shadow reading, it's more like you are really denying that you need to start over. You're denying that there's a death that needs to take place, you know? And that's usually because we don't want to move on. People think that when things come to an end, that the world's going to end. And you mostly see this with love, or when someone is actually dying in a reading and someone asks you, hey, can you tell me if they're going to die? And this comes up, then it's like a literal thing. Yes, I do see this. But at the same time, they don't want to accept that. They may ask the question, but they don't really want to hear the answer. So this will come up when you're denying that a death needs to take place. But it's not as bad as literally your world falling apart. It's usually something minor, I've found, like a breakup or losing your job. Or it can get a little bit more extreme with someone actually dying because it's more of a gradual change, I feel, where you kind of saw it coming. You could feel the energy changing and things that were going to end. It's not abrupt. That's more of the other card that we're going to go over in a second. So, and let me know about your thoughts. I wanted you guys to bring your decks, if you have them with you, so you could compare and see what symbols show up in your cards that stand out from the original Rider-Waite, or that even differ from this, because not all the death cards look the same. Like on my blog, which I can post the link so you guys can actually go see it. Let me do that. I compare the Witch's Tarot to the Enchanted World Tarot. Like the original, I guess. I found out that they had a reprinting. But the original take on the Enchanted World. Because the imagery is so different, that one, it's so much more colorful. It reminds me a little bit more of Dia de los Muertos. Just because of the style of the flowers and the plant life. Haha, just posted. So that's the Scary Cards of Tarot article, if you guys want to take a look at the pictures. So, compare it to your deck. I'd love to see how it differs for you, because our meanings of these scary cards are going to differ so much. And there's so much background behind this card specifically, because everybody uses this card. Like in the opera Carmen, she pulls the death card and has an entire aria about how she's okay with dying and she's going to live her life the way she does, and then she ends up, because she took bad attitude about it, she ends up dying. She had the chance to change herself and she decided not to. So you'll see this show up in movies a lot, and mainstream media is so terrified of this card. It's ridiculous, and you shouldn't be. Lynn says your card is much more intense. Yeah, that's very true. Especially if you take a look at the picture between this and the Enchanted World Tarot. This is red and black and dangerous and Ghost Rider. That's why I love it. I love Ghost Rider. Whereas the other one, it's pinks and yellows and purples and white, and it's so pretty. And it's just a skeleton walking around, just chilling. He doesn't have fire on his head. So the imagery can really do something for you as well. Okay, so yeah, I promise with this card, no one's going to come strangle you to death. I promise. If it shows up in your shadow work reading, it's not going to strangle you to death. I promise. And if that happens out of pure coincidence, I am so sorry ahead of time. Lynn says, yes, mainstream media is always means a literal death. Exactly. Like, I feel like in Drag Me to Hell, when she went to that reader, it might have come up. Possibly. I'd have to rewatch the movie. But, yeah. Okay, next one is the Tower. This is the type of death that is It's like the death card, but you didn't see this shit coming. Your world literally feels like it's on fire. That's why this is followed up with the star. Because literally, like, the building's blowing up. It gives me, there's a tower in the Bible where this red cord gets hung out the window and God doesn't destroy that tower because his believers are in there. It might just be the Jehovah's Witness Bible. That just might be me. I need to take a look. But it reminds me of that, where the top gets blown off the place. You're jumping from the wreckage, and then you have to follow up with the star. All of your possessions have been burned away. So everything you knew about your reality, it's gone. Like, it's not happening. Or you are ignoring a situation to the point that the top is going to blow the hell off. And things are going to blow up. And it's going to be a huge fight. Probably going to get fired. You might get arrested. Things will go downhill super quick. And then you're going to need that emotional healing. Lynn says, okay, I'm trusting you. Yay, trust me. Hello, Jennifer. Welcome to the stream. I see you. So, the tower in this sense, it's just like, it's really more of a symbol of transformation and sudden change. Both these cards are. There's so much about transformation in all the scary cards that we're going to go through. And that's why it's more of a natural disaster even. So like the wildfires or the hurricanes that are coming through the United States right now, I would classify these as tower moments. Well, like a mixture of death and tower, because we could see them coming. But the fire, for sure, that is a tower moment. And just like the Waldo Canyon fire here in Colorado about 6 years back, 7 years, 5 years back, 2012. I had just graduated high school, and literally I had just gotten hired at a call center that was close to where the fires were, and it almost got burned down. It made me so upset, along with all the people who lost their homes. Flying W Ranch, never going to be there again because it's gone. But it's that kind of moment where it's this devastation that afterwards you have to pick up the pieces. Another type of tower moment, oh, hang on, I have stuff here. Jessica, I agree. I always say, what the hell can I happen next? Jessica says, whatever is the shower behind you. I keep thinking there's someone in there. Yes, I'm sorry. It's a shower. I promise, like, there's nobody in here. Oh, you can't see. You might be able to see, but it's literally just stuff hanging right there. No one's gonna murder me, I promise. The only person who would even attempt to do that is my husband, and he's in the other room. He'd come out and try to be Michael Myers on me. It's okay. But when it comes to the tower, another thing could be your spouse cheating on you and you finding out. Your world has been blown up, especially if you didn't see it coming. If you were completely in the blue, like you didn't fucking know. And your home, your life, your marriage, everything is just horrible. So you leap from the wreckage, you show up scarred, literally nothing to your name, and then you go bathe in the river and get some emotional healing, you know? Things like that. Lynn said, I thought you had a visitor. Oh no. No one's back there, I promise. It's just me in here. The only, like, maybe a spider will pop up and I'll freak the hell out. But it's just me in here, I promise. Oh, okay, next one. I'm actually going to do an extra card here, but let's take care of the major arcana first, because those are the big ones. So next is the moon, and I love this card. And usually this isn't under the scary cards, but it's because of this deck that I included. Because just look at the scene. I mean, first of all, this is associated with Hecate. For the Witch's Tarot, they include each of the major arcana to be associated with a god and a zodiac and everything like that. So first of all, it's Hecate. This, if I were to have any depiction of her, this would be her. And she's also the crone for this instance, which I thought it was interesting because the moon is all about things aren't as they really seem. So it gives it a real creepy vibe here because the crone is not what you would expect. She's beautiful, but you're really just a crone when you've had knowledge and you choose to put yourself first. It's like after you have children. But that doesn't mean that later on in age you can't be beautiful. I totally agree with it here. Another thing, this woman is not worried. Well, she's kind of worried. She's carrying these keys through this dark, dismal forest. You know, you got the waxing moon in the background. Got a torch, got these wolves here. It's foggy. Things are really dark and dank. And the best thing that I found to describe this was like things that are in the light do not always look the same in the dark. It's a completely different perspective. So things that you see at night, you see their shadow side. But when in the light, they can be smiling and happy with you, you know? Whoa, what happened? I am so sorry for that freak out. Jessica says, the deceiver, the moon always puts me on high alert. Yeah, and I never know what to do with timing with this, or especially when this comes up in any kind of reading on the hotlines. I have no clue what to do with this card, because I'm like, things aren't obviously happy here. They obviously aren't. Because it's such a dismal card. And it's so dark, but I love it at the same time because it's so beautiful. And it's followed immediately, I believe it's followed immediately by the sun. And that's so happy. It's usually got a little boy that's naked riding on a horse. This deck has him clothed, but he's riding on a white horse. And even, it's interesting, the Gothic Horror Tarot, which is an indie deck. We got it on Etsy. It was awesome. I got it for my husband. It was his first deck. It's interesting because the moon has a werewolf running off stage. It's like you're seeing it from very far away perspective. You see a werewolf running into the forest, and then the sun immediately after has a knight on a horse running after him. It's like two pieces of the story, and they really work together. But when this comes up in shadow work, it just means like you're really in the dark of the situation. A lot of these cards, you find mini versions of them in the Minor Arcana. I'd find this a mini version, well, a major version of the Eight of Swords for me, or the Four of Cups. You clearly aren't seeing everything in the situation. There's some manipulation involved. You really need to see things from a different perspective in order to flip things. Lynn says, I know on the hotlines it's difficult to try to explain exactly. You're like, I have the moon. It looks pretty if you look up the card, but what I'm seeing, it's not pretty. Well, it's pretty, but it's scary. It's a little bit hard. So, some things for the moon, like let's say you're starting a business with a friend. Like this happened to my aunt. She started an LLC. She's a lawyer with her partner. And for years, she didn't know that he was laundering money under the table. That's a moon moment. Things weren't as they seemed to her. The moon could also warn of potential issues like creating an unprofessional work environment, or maybe your business loan has hidden clauses and things like that. You're not firmly planting yourself in pentacles, in earth. It's mostly, nothing's grounded because everything's too much in the air. You notice there's a lot of air and fire in this card. It's all wispy, there's lots of clouds. You see the fire and the steam. It's not grounded. It's harder to explain, but yeah. Another thing is that, another example, you may be leaving school, like decide to not finish college, to pick up a well-paying job. And that looks right at the time, but perhaps you lose that job in a couple months. And the moon comes up in a reading to tell you, this doesn't look right, you know? Things like that. Okay. Another one for the Major Arcana. And this is going to be a little weird, because this is one of those cards in the Witch's Tarot that has a different name and a slightly different meaning. So this influences how I read this card in general. And it's the shadow side, which for this deck is the devil. Now, the devil usually, has Satan with the upside down pentagram, and he's got two people chained to his chair, but the chains are loose so they could leave at any time. Things like that. Where it's more, you could leave your addiction at any point. You can leave this relationship that, to me, whenever I see the devil in an actual reading for love, I'm getting that's that kind of relationship where the only good thing between you is sex, and that's it. Besides that, it's emotionally abusive, maybe physically abusive, mentally abusive. It's just bad. Get out. And the only reason you're staying is because you're feeling lust, not love. This version, which is why one of my favorite reasons for loving this deck, is it's a bit different. These people aren't chained. They're running from what would be their devil, because it's got him in the background, and it's like this Grim Reaper or this skeleton in a cloak, and woman hiding behind a tree. This guy's blinded by looking at the light. But the things that I notice here is, for one, the light is behind the monster that they're running from. It's not in front of him. So he is the light. He's the thing you've been avoiding. Your addiction, your abusive relationships, anything in your shadow self that you don't want to pay attention to, that's what's happening. Oh no. Is my stream stopped? Damn it. If it stopped, I'll go ahead and upload it again later. Damn it. Due to poor wireless connection, of course. Sorry, guys. Okay, I will upload this video afterwards so you guys can actually see it. So, sorry. When it comes to this, the monster is the light and they're running from the light. It's like that same thing with the chains, where you feel you're chained to a situation when you're really not. Then's when Jessica wondered what happened. No! I'll go ahead and re-explain this in a second. Internet cut out. This is crap. Internet cut out. Starting another live. Okay. Scary cards. Part 2. God damn it, damn it, damn it. Okay. Go live after it stops freezing. This is why I don't do lives from home. Okay. Alright, I'm back. I'm back. Let's do this again. Okay. Cool, it's live. So sorry. Internet, soon I will move and I won't be here anymore because there's like 8 people on the same Wi-Fi. And I know better than to stay home during the day and work. I'm sorry, guys. There we go. Hi again, Lan. I'm super sorry. As I was saying, for the devil and the shadow side, basically, the main thing here is you're running from what you don't want to face. Your shadow side is literally coming at you, and you're just like, no, I don't want to deal with it. I'm going to hide behind this tree. That's basically what's going on. So, the thing for this, This is another one of those cards. The actual devil card is another one of those that people hate drawing in any kind of reading because they're like, oh, I'm a horrible person. No, you're really not. You're just ignoring some shit about yourself of your own volition purposely. Like, you don't want to deal with it because you'd rather live in your own little fantasy world. So, one example, you're an alcoholic. You know you're an alcoholic, but you refuse to do anything about it. That's the devil. That's the shadow side. If you're in a relationship that's full of yelling and screaming and the sex is great, shadow side. If you're a hoarder and you know you're out of control, shadow side. You know it's there, but you just gotta actually do it. And this card can also represent from what you're hiding from yourself, which is why I said it's kind of like the Eight of, which is why I said the Moon is kind of like the Eight of Swords, but this kind of plays into it too. You don't want to accept some things about yourself, you know? So, one last card for today. I wanted to do a minor arcana because everybody's terrified when they get this card in a reading. And that's the Three of Swords. And for this deck, I really love the imagery here because the Witch's Tarot randomly likes to put in fairies. Like the Five of Swords isn't this guy picking up 5 swords and walking away from a fight. It's 5 swords in the air pointing at a moth and all these fairies are laughing at it. It's like embarrassment more than anything else. So for this, 3 swords and a heart. And whenever this comes up in a love reading, it's the best. It's really not, but it's that situation where you're like, okay, obviously things aren't going happy. You need to straight up tell me the truth right now. What happened? It's kind of that card that's like, okay, no more bullshit, no more testing to see if I'm real. What happened? You can talk to me about it. Because it's painful. And the best way I can describe it with this card and accepting it for a shadow reading is obviously some shit has gone down and you're refusing to accept it. You are walking around with 3 swords in your chest right now. Like you just are. This is literally happening to you in like an emotional sense or a mental sense. And you can walk around with these in your chest all you want, but you're never going to heal fully because if you don't take the weapon out, if you don't take what hurt you out, so you're never going to fully heal. You're still going to bleed every once in a while. It's still going to cut you deeper. So there's a couple steps here. 1 step for each sword. Like, I have a sword in my chest. I've been hurt. My husband cheated on me. Or someone backstabbed me and I lost my job. Or my parents are getting divorced. Or, something along those lines where it just breaks your heart. And it makes your world fall down around you. I was raped is a strong one. Like, this happened to me. I've acknowledged it. 1 sword's gone. Okay? I need to accept the consequences and how it's changed me. Okay? Because of these swords in my chest, I have grew to become resentful. Or I have put up too many blocks. Or I've become too trusting of people. And things like that. I have become hurt. And I reacted in this way. Acknowledgement. You know what happened, now acknowledge what it did to you. Other sword's gone. Now, start healing. Pull that last sword out. Deal with the pain. You need to accept the pain first and accept that it happened before you can actually move on. Because you can't move on fully if you don't actually do it. Does that make any sense? Hopefully I'm still recording. And it froze again. No? Okay, no, it did it. So, it's things like that you really have to think about for the 3 of Swords, and I always found that method to be the best. Lynn says, best explanation I've heard on the Three of Swords. Thank you. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm so theatrical. I just want to make sure it makes sense. and I feel like that's where a lot of people get stuck up when it comes to their shadow work, is you can see this card as much as you want and get mad at it for following you around, but obviously you have some swords in your chest and you need to take them out. You know, maybe it's just because I've watched a lot of Law and Order and hospital shows. But if you have a weapon or an obstruction in your body in general in life, you need to take it out before you can heal. You got to remove the broken pieces. You got to get rid of the problem before you can heal. That happens with any physical disease. It happens with mental disorders. Why wouldn't it be the same for our emotional and spiritual self? Like, I lived with a toxic parent, and I've been in toxic romantic relationships. In order for me to heal, I had to remove those swords and get them out of my life. It makes sense, because if it's still hanging around, you're not gonna get over it. So it's not that scary. The scariest part is owning up to yourself with, I know exactly what that card is talking about. That's the scariest part. Because then you're admitting to yourself, holy crap, there's something wrong with me. And I'm not okay, like I'm pretending to be okay. Yay, Jessica's back. So sorry. I am going to be sending out a replay. The recording didn't stop. So I'm going to be sending out a replay, so there won't be any breaks in the conversation or anything that you missed. And of course, these are going to be left up as well. We are on the Three of Swords. Jessica, that's what we're on. So basically, I was just saying that in order to fully heal from it, you gotta take the swords out your chest first. Acknowledge the pain and then remove it. Don't just, well, I'm gonna run away now, but I'm not gonna accept what you did to me kind of thing. Does that make sense? Cool. Yay, you're very welcome. Yeah. So those are the cards that I wanted to address before our workshop. So our workshop will still be on November 3rd, and I'm going to put a link to it again, because again, you have to both sign up for the list and show up to get the freebies. I am going to go ahead though. There will be a replay that will be sent to you no matter what, but you got to show up so you can get everything. We're going to sit down, bring your tarot cards, bring some Kleenex, especially right now because of the formation of the planets. Uranus is being an asshole right now. Yesterday it had me jittery because of all the negative energy coming out, and I was like, whew. Bring some Kleenex, bring what you need, any crystals, whatever you got to do, and we're going to sit down and we're going to do a shadow work spread together as a group. And we're going to share our findings, what's going on with everything, and we're going to walk through it step by step by step. But I wanted to do these cards first in case they come up. So you're not like, oh, I'm going to die. Ghost Rider's gonna come, and then my house is gonna blow up, and then I'm gonna get stabbed in the chest. No, that's not gonna happen. It's more, so you don't freak out. Because I know there are some new people in the group, new to tarot reading in general, some that are more interested in runes and such, that may be coming and playing along. So this is a warning about these type of cards. True, I could go into more cards, because there are a bunch, especially in the Swords family. The Swords is the depressing suit. But tarot, the best thing about it is it pulls no punches. And especially when it comes to shadow work, it really pulls no punches. And it's going to be awesome. Because you're going to get this blatant honesty. We're going to clear all these cobwebs out. It's going to be great. What deck do we need? Jessica says, any deck. Get a deck. I have actually, let's go out of this real quick. Underneath, I have, let's see if it'll actually show it. I have a tarot and numerology app for free. I actually use it for the hotlines, and it comes with a couple different decks. It's funky. Yeah, right now it has the Rider-Waite deck on here. So that's what I use for the hotlines. You could easily do that because it's all energy. Just focus yourself, pull some cards, and it hasn't steered me wrong yet. Jessica said, oh, whatever deck we feel most drawn to. Yeah, whatever deck you feel drawn to. Just, even if you go and get a deck of playing cards, even though those are mostly minor arcana, minus the jokers, you could still totally use it. Lynn says, thank you so much again. Another great video. Thank you, Lynn, for coming. Jessica says, I like my Thelmina deck and Beautiful Creatures deck. Hello again, Katrina. The problem with my Thelmina deck is I don't like the booklet it came with. It has no reversals. Oh, that's okay. I actually don't use reversals. I go based off of the energy of the situation in the card. So if you don't want to do reversals, fine. All I take a reversal as, like we talked about with seeing the shadow side of a card a couple weeks ago, all I take for a reversal is it really enhances the card, or that it gives the negative part of it. So for example, I'm trying to think of a good example off the top of my head. So if I were to do death as a character, you know, it's about needing a new beginning, things starting over, you don't want it to, things like that. Reverse it, it's more like a tower, you know, it's more like the tower's meaning where like you didn't expect this shit, it's gonna happen no matter what, and you need to get over it. There's no fighting this at all. You know, another thing, I had mentioned the Fool. The Fool, when he's upright, is all about new beginnings, optimism, taking risks, things like that. Flip him upside down, it's naivety at its finest. It's that person who sees the good in everything, even when there is no good in everything, and you just want to punch them in the face to get them back into reality. You know, things like that. And so you can make your own reversals for sure. Just because I have quite a few decks. Yeah, you could use any of your decks. If you want to try something with your Thelema, I'm going to butcher that name, Thelema. If you want to do something with that deck that you absolutely hate, you can totally do it. I have decks like that too. That there's something about it that drives me nuts. My Enchanted World Tarot is like that. I hate it. It makes me so mad. But also because when I first got it, it was really snippy with me. So Lynn says, same here, no reversals. Yeah, I just go based off of the energy of the reading. If I have too many reversals, I'm like, whoa, okay, something is completely off here, and it's going to distract me from the original card's meaning. It's harder for me to do that, so I keep everything upright. But yeah, everything, yep, I'm going to send this out since it decided to cut off. It'll go out to the newsletter, so also if you're a part of the newsletter group, you'll be getting a replay for this. That's my witch's deck, very snarky, yes. And it's embarrassing because you get to the point with shadow work that you know your cards so well and how they talk to you, because after this you'll really get a voice for how your cards talk to you. And I'll be doing a reading with these, especially on the hotlines, because it hates the hotlines. This deck in particular, hates the hotlines. It's like, use me for education, not for helping people with their love life for the millionth time. They get so snarky. They're like, she just needs to move the fuck on right now. Or, nope, he's cheating. And it's just so freaking blatant. It's like, I can't help but laugh at them while at the same time feel really sorry for the person I'm giving a reading to. So you'll really get a voice for your deck like this too. It's super, super snarky. But yeah, if you guys have no more questions, I'm gonna pin the link to the workshop if you haven't done it yet. If you haven't signed up, go ahead and do that. It'll be important, and I promise I won't be home with the creepy shower for our broadcast. I will probably dress up for Halloween again. We'll still have a broadcast next week. We'll do something fun to prepare for the nastiness. You have to sign up. That's okay. Go ahead, sign up. Because if you don't, what's going to happen is the recording will only be available for that weekend, that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then after that I'm taking it away. So only the people that sign up for the list, they're going to get a permanent link to it. And they'll be able to see it for forever. Unless, of course, you join my course. Then you'll get it. But make sure you sign up for it. Then it's free for yours forever. You get the PDF, you get everything. So just make sure you come. Yeah, and the main reason I also did this too is because we have people on the other side of the planet on our in our group. We have Karen, who's awesome. She's in Australia. We have another lady. It starts with an O. I don't want to butcher her name, but she's somewhere in Africa. So there's some people in the southern hemisphere, so this is another alternative for people that are afraid they're going to miss it live and it's going to be in the middle of the night for them, because this is going to be at noon the same time and they're going to be sleeping. So make sure you get it so then you have it for forever and you never miss it. Jessica says, okay, my hubby works nights as well, so I may be in and out. I have to take care of kids who don't usually leave me alone. I understand. Mine is sleeping right now, hopefully. She better be sleeping. That's why it'll be at noon. So it hopefully won't interfere with little kids. If you gotta come in and out, fine. That's fine. Share your spread afterwards in the group. Let us know what's going on. But there'll be more details about that and technicalities and all that next week. And we'll have fun next week to prepare for it. Yeah. So yeah, if there's no other questions, I'll go ahead and end it here. It wasn't too long. Yeah, about 40 minutes, almost 50 minutes. Yeah. So yeah, thank you guys for coming. I love it when people come in. I have people to talk to. And if you have any questions about the scary cards, people watching the replay, be sure to post it in the group. I love questions. It makes me happy. I get to do really long answers. Like I do. Alright guys, have a great rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend. Bye. Turn off. No. Come on. Like a light switch. Turn it off.